Hello everyone, this is Vinay here from Learn Coding with Vinay again, and this will be our final video number 10 in the video series Career in IT. Right. So in this video, we are going to cover RPA, robotic process automation, and game development. Right. So let's jump with it. So before the first one is robotic process automation, and what is this actually RPA? So this is quite, I would not say quite new term or new stream. It's been there for a while now, but very interesting and very unique, I would say, career stream that one can opt their career in. Right. So what does RPA means? Robotic process automation. So robotic process automation is all about automating repeating tasks. Those are happening on a various business, various organization, right? And automate them. So let's consider that you are working as a not just an IT employee. You are working as a any employee, working in any organization. And your first task in the morning is to do task one, which involves step one, two, and three, right? So every day you are doing this manually, right? Now this is a good case which can be converted into an RPA, robotic process automation, right? So there are tools which can help you define the flow and which can help you automate your task, right? So because the task and the number of steps involved are quite fixed, right? So they can be automated using RPA tools. We'll see what tools are there, options are there, but just this is an overview what an RPA look like, what an RPA is, guy will be doing. So let's take a look at a day-to-day task of an RPA developer, right? So first is gather relevant data from various sources and understand, analyze your business wherever you are working. Analyze your business. Try to identify the automation opportunities. Basically, try to identify repetitive tasks that people are doing, be it in any role, be it an employee, normal employee, be it a manager, be it a stakeholder, leaders, right? And see what can be automated, right? Then once that opportunity is identified, then use this design tool to generate workflows that can automate the task, right? And these tools are actually also known as no code low code tool because they require very, I would say, very less or no coding knowledge, and they are basically based on dragging and dropping component and design and using connectors with each other and define the entire workflow, right? So we'll see what are these repetitive tasks. Examples are data entry, invoice processing, employee boarding. We'll see in detail after we discuss these day-to-day tasks, right? Then collaborate with business analysts, domain expert, understand the requirement. What are their pain area? What are the tasks that they have to do it daily, where they can save the time and move to some more productive things, right? Test and debug. Obviously you are developing something, that particular tool or code has to be tested and has to be made performance impact performance from the performance perspective, it has to be fast, right? The next one is monitor boards in production and handle exception errors, right? Again, maintain documentation about whatever RPA tool you are using, whatever automation you are developing. So make a good documentation, if so other person can also understand and at least start learning and supporting the application, right? So let me go to the next slide where we will see what all automation tools are available and what an RPA guy should learn, right? So as a skills perspective, you may require to learn C Sharp, Python, SQL, Java, JavaScript, or depending on the tool you are choosing. As I said before, that you need not to know the programming languages in depth, but there are certain cases where by simply dragging and dropping component, it cannot be achieved. You might have to do some sort of coding, right? In most of the cases, it should be achievable using dragging and dropping component, right? So the popular tools are, UiPath, Microsoft Power Automate, Blue Prism, Work Fusion, Automation Everywhere. Right? So these are the tool, and again, you don't need to learn each of them. Either learning Microsoft Power Automate, Blue Prism, or Automation Animation or Automation Anywhere. One of these will work for you, right? And if you are using Power Automate, as I said, for few complex scenario, you might need to have a knowledge of C Sharp, right? but ideally it should be achievable using drag and drop component only, right? Now let's now let's dive into what can be automated in various day-to-day business. For example, if we say finance and accounting, end of the month, finance and accounting team will generate invoices for various vendors, either the vendors who are working from them, or maybe they are working as a vendor for someone else, right? So invoice processing, that's a monthly task, right? And invoice processing, what will have, they will collect the data of maybe hours worked, or maybe amount of work achieved, and pay based on that the invoice would be generated, and it is sent to via email or anything, it will be sent to the vendors, right? Or maybe the third party, right? So this is the case where automation can be applied, because the task generating invoice involves only few things, and those are fixed, right? 1 2 3 step example, that's what we saw, right? Another is, let's say accounting reconciliation. So let's say you have a account where there are certain credits, there are certain debits, right? And you want to calculate at the month end, and what is the balance over there, right? What was that? Then you can do this very easily using any power automated automation tool, right? Next example is from HR domain, is employee onboarding. So whenever employee onboarding is a very common thing happening organization. Since I have worked with HRs and HR software very closely, in one of my organization, in a week there were 2 days where employee onboarding was happening, right? So that depends on organization, how they are defining employee onboarding. So basically, those are the days where new employee will come and join the organization, right? The first thing they need to do is to employee onboarding, right? Now, what is employee onboarding means? Now, so employee onboarding means creating employees record into the database, generating employee ID, generating an ID, you know, for an employee, so they can use it to punch in, punch out time, the card basically, right? And generating email address for that employee. If if you are working on an organization that deducts PF also, then if there is no UN number or UN card for the employee, you might have a process to generate that also as well, working with some government bodies, right? So employee onboarding, fix that what all things are, what all things are happening. Let's consider minimum as of now, that create employee record, create employee ID, create employee email, right? And create the employee ID card basically, uh, that will be used by the employee for punch in and punch out time, right? So one more example of scenario where this can be RPA can be used, right? Now next would be, again, if we talk about healthcare, then again patient registration, automation entry. Once the patient is there, patient demographics, and if already they are there, we can create using the case, using the existing data, using any of this tool, right? Power. So I hope this will give you a good idea, about where RPS can be applied. So again, RPA developer are responsible to find out the manual task and repetitive tasks those are happening in the organization, and try to automate so that resources associated with them can actually have a free time, and they involve in another productive stuff. Right. So this is what RPA is all about. And nowadays RPA developers are also in very good demand. So the person, I would say, who is looking for no code career option, I think RPA would be probably a good choice for them. Right. But as I said, keep evolving, learn more things in this RPA stuff. Deep dive and learn more things. Right. So let me move to the next now. Now next is the game development. Now game development is, again, a very popular stream. I think game industry is I would say, $1 billion industry, right? For and ever since the evolution of smartphones, game development has become a very huge industry, I would say, very very big industry, right? And it is not just limited to your mobile device. You can play it on laptops, computers, and there are gaming consoles also, like PS4. I think Sony has one which I missed, PlayStation, right? So game development is again a very good career option, right? But it follows a very different path. Apart from knowing the languages, programming languages, you will have to learn certain frameworks that those are popularly used in game development. So let's see what a game developer will do. So write game logic, mechanics, systems, right? For example, if you are if you are developing a racing game, car racing game, then pressing right arrow button, what should happen? Pressing left arrow buttons, what should happen? Up and down, what should happen? Whether it should accelerate, down key, maybe it should apply brake, something like that, right? Then design and integrate 2D and 3D asset. Obviously, then since there is a game, lot of graphics are involved, right? So and there can be separate team also. Sometimes 2D and 3D assets are designed by the separate animation team, but depending on interest, game developer can also develop it. And collaborate with designer, artists, and sound engineers. Obviously, games involve graphics, videos, audios, right? So it has to be a teamwork basically. Then again, if you are developing a game, then again it has to be optimized. Thoroughly testing should be done. Documentation should be maintained of it, right? And then last and final will be gathering feedback from the player. So in the game itself, there should be an option where people can rate your gaming, or provide feedback, what is good, what is not good about it, right? So these are the day-to-day tasks of a game developer. Basically, develop screens or write code that is relevant to your game, right? So also, when you watch this video, what are comment in the comment section, that what are the games that you have used the most in your free time. So if you talk about mine, I have used uh, Subway Surfer in my past. Was a game that probably I played a lot. And then the next would be Rummy, playing cards, right? That is the next game that I have used a lot in my past. So comment in the section that which games you have used a lot, right? So let me move to the next. Now, if you want to become a game developer, then what you should learn, right? Then there are certain programming languages and ready-made framework that can be used to develop games. Certain examples are Unity framework, which is built using C Sharp, Unreal Engine, Godot, Blender, then obviously Photoshop for 2D and 3D image generation, Krita 2D art, and Git version control. And that's a very common thing. Version control is everywhere, right? And depending on the engine you are selecting, you might have to learn C Sharp, Java, or Python, or JavaScript for browser. If you are working on iOS games, then Swift and Objective C would be your uh, choice of languages, right? So these are the skill one should learn. So as a beginner, discuss someone who has already developed a game, and discuss where to start. Probably, I think, in my opinion, Unity framework would be a good choice, but that depends on in which direction you want to go, right? But that's how, I have heard from my gaming developer friend that Unity framework will be a primary thing one should know, right? Now try to remember this symbol, as this will be the cases when you will be required to remember. These are the tools and technology you will be using on a day-to-day basis, right? So that's it, guys. I think we have discussed more than 18 to 19 career streams, and it's time to say goodbye. And again, this is Vinay, Learn Coding with Vinay. If you need any kind of guidance, try to ping me on my WhatsApp number or email me. I'll try to answer best to my knowledge. And I also want to highlight that uh, there are 4 courses I am offering, which is available online and offline both. And you can check it on my website, which is learncodingwithvinay.graphy.com. So if you want to become a full stack developer, I have 2 courses: Angular with ASP.NET Core and Web API, and ASP.NET Core MVC. If you want to become a backend developer, then there is a course, ASP.NET Core Web API. And if you want to become a database developer, or you want a backend that only handles database, then I have a course for SQL. SQL course will be handy for data analyst and data scientists also, right? And if you are coming in a group of 2 to 3, there will be a discount arranged, right? And just to highlight, again, that within the class, if you are picking it online, then you will get the recording. It will be available lifetime. There will be for any course, there will be we will be learning fundamental first, and for each fundamental there will be one example and one assignment for each topic, right? And at the end of the course, there will be course completion certificate, and at the end of the course I will assign small project to you guys, to the learners. So learners will have to implement it using the fundamentals we have learned, right? So that way it will be a concrete proof of concept for you for any of these course listed over here. And I will be there whenever you are stuck, when you are working on that assignment, the final project, right? It will be small project. Okay. So that's it about my courses and my classes, and subscribe to my channel. This will be new channel altogether when I upload this video, which is Learn Coding with Vinay. I have already one channel which is Learn Coding with Vinay hyphen SQL Developer, where I am discussing SQL related stuff. Right. So see you. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching this video, and see you in my channel in various videos. Thanks a lot, guys.